What's happening, ladies and gentlemen of League Zero, and welcome to this mildly impromptu map review video thing. I'm Acrinator, production head. Hopefully, you all know me by this point. I'm the guy who doesn't shut the hell up ever, and I'm joined by someone who's even more cynical than me somehow, rydkos, the other production head for the YouTube stuff.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm optimistic as hell.
Sure. Let's see how you feel after this map that we review. Although it was a good game, for those who haven't read the title. For those who can't read, we're going to be looking at the final map of the five map series between Double Cap and Kappatilism, the Battle of the Caps, as it were.
Oh, I
So
hate that.
the context.
I
Oh,
hate,
that's a season old at this point. The context behind this is, of course, that this series went to a map 5. It went back and forth. I believe Kappatilism took maps 1 and 3, and Double Cap took maps 2 and 4. So Kappatilism did take, I think it was Busan for the first map. It's been a while, and I watched so much Overwatch from League Zero this past weekend, so it's hard to say one way or the other. Could be melding together in my mind, but either way, I don't know
and
if you
just
watched. Okay, go ahead.
I haven't watched any, but just FYI, guys, who's on the blue team and who's on the red team for people that don't know?
Yeah, so Kappatilism is the left side of the screen, the blue team, and Double Cap is gonna be on the right side of your screen or the red. I'm not editing this. This is just completely unscripted. It's the most editing I did was enable the Discord overlay so you could see who's talking because I was too lazy to try and set up filters for OBS in particular. So
I tried to convince some guys it didn't work.
you didn't even know I was doing that until I just said it right now. But
Sure.
either way. So the main context of this, aside from like this is a map 5, is that Double Cap is obviously the heavy favorites coming into the season because no one really knew too many people from Kappatilism outside of like Remy from I believe he was on MI6 in season 3.
I
But
believe so. Sounds about right.
otherwise pretty much unknown players. Although technically, like Deflexi is also known as Alligator Andre from season 2 Yoink, although he was coaching in season 3, so I hadn't seen him play, especially not in DPS. And then you look at Double Cap, and it's Pongo, who's easily considered probably the top main tank and intermediate, with a few up close to him, probably like Juice or whatnot, and then just like a bunch of veterans outside of like Katagiri. But otherwise, everyone else is already known to, at the very least, be mechanically skilled. Major things I took away from this series up to this point is that Double Cap, when they had Double Cap's over here, that when Double Cap actually followed Pongo into battle, they seemed to do really well, but they also seemed to have some difficulty keeping up with his pace. Uh, Pongo, I believe, had peaked like low GM at one point, but fell back down shortly thereafter. But he has played at that level. He is really good, and generally, he did a really good job of like playing the role of the main tank. He was definitely like the hard carry of Double Cap when they needed it, but there was a definitely disconnect towards Kappatilism. We're less mechanically inclined as opposed to Double Cap, which that's not really an insult considering these players, but they had really good synergy for a bunch of people that, as far as I'm aware, have never really played together. So let's get
And
into it.
yeah, I haven't watched any of this quite yet. And also, I do have a message from Ranter who says he wasn't here during this weekend, but he will be yelling at his team profusely about this. So I don't know. Take with that what you will.
So yeah, obviously we're a lot of us are familiar with the players on Double Cap. I mean, hell, I coached Silvertals in the most recent season of Flux Cup, so I'm expecting terrible positioning and great mechanics from him. Mini
And it looks
roast
like we're coming
aside.
out with a mirror matchup right here.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah,
Although
they seem to
slightly different
like
pathing.
this. Yeah, that's not too surprising. Generally speaking, it's either like they TP 2 point or they TP early on and then try and get to point, uh, so that the other team doesn't know exactly where they're pathing.
That
I
was an
guess
extremely great wall by Tannic right there to basically force Capitalism to basically fight, push back, and not be in the choke whatsoever.
pretty much, yeah. Again, like Double Cap definitely out mechanicked Kappatilism. The Cap had like a really good synergy built up, despite like only 2 weeks together, as far as I know.
Yeah. It just seems like right now, Capitalism, even though they are losing the fight, they are playing more as a team. Meanwhile, you can see it's a little sporadic movement of double cap.
A
You
lot
can
of
already see that.
good. A lot of the reasons that like Capitalism won the maps that they did win is oftentimes you'd have like Frozen or Tannic or maybe like Corey, aka Ono Potato, would like go off and try and make a play, but then it would backfire and they'd get punished for it. I think it happened a little bit more in something like the say the Vega Parrots match with Central, but it also didn't happen there. There's just Pongo
Oh,
MTDing. There you go. Like
I don't even think that was an MTD. I think that was just a very unfortunate. Nova poked out a little bit too much, and Tannic basically just took the opportunity to wall him off.
yeah, pretty much.
So that's where you got to be very careful, especially going against an enemy Mei right here. I used to on a team that I used to be on. Used to be the Mei player, especially on this map.
Just gonna rewind that a little
Always,
bit.
yeah.
To,
Rewind it. You always want that main tank to come out first because if you do, it's basically the easiest ult charge in the world.
So one thing I want the people at home watching this to kind of pay attention to is like the speed at which Pongo in particular, because he is definitely the shot caller here. He's definitely the one trying to make the plays. How fast he reacts to Nova getting walled off, right? Because he's the one who has the fastest reactions on the team because he's immediately going. And like the rest of his team wasn't even there to follow up originally.
The one thing I really want to point out is the fact that if you have a Lucio, make sure the Lucio is ready to go with you because the Lucio is going to be the one calling the speed. They're going to be the ones to make sure because if they like basically all pulled out, maybe half of them would have been pushed out, but that would have been a lot better than just having Nova by himself. But I am interested to see what Nova does with this Shatter coming up right here.
I don't exactly remember this map. Oh, well, another wall for Pongo.
Another wall. A really good wall.
Notice the amount of effort that went into killing just Pongo. That's sort of like how Capitalism won a lot of these fights throughout the entire series. Is like, just punish Pongo. Because
Punish Pongo, yeah.
There's a lot of times where like that, where he was up in front of the rest of Double Cap, and maybe Corey would be with him, but otherwise like no one else was, and that's kind of easy to kill Ryan with just a Lucio pocket.
That is the most unfortunate stagger for category.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Wait, I have to see that again. Please go back and watch from Pongo's perspective. I need to see what he saw.
Katakiri.
F9.
Pongo,
F9.
I know. I'm waiting for him to get into position. So he knows
What did he see? He's like, I'm gonna protect you. No, he's already dead. He just wanted revenge. He wanted revenge.
He saw an opening. That's like a faster. That's like a higher SR tempo play. If you know what I mean. Like when you watch the higher, like if you watch the advanced games, you know these players are like mid masters, GM, and above. Especially if you go to previous seasons where you have like contenders, trials players. They play at a certain speed, and that's very similar to what Pongo did there. Not necessarily in terms of speed, but.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that Ender basically has to play the Doomfist to get back to his team, but it's all for naught, even though he does get 2 great picks right there. Unfortunately, because of the fact that he came to the fight way too late, it's unfortunate. I think it probably been a better idea there for Capitalism probably to give up the point because of the fact that you didn't have your Mei with you. It's so much positional battle right there going against 5v6 in that area, in that aspect.
Yeah, especially in this case, because like it's not like they were missing very much damage. Okay, well, I see that again from a better angle.
That beat is a killer one too, because that is not something you want to engage with.
Poked out of the corner.
Although,
I
wasn't now able to touch. Yeah, right there, I would have said I think Capitalism could have had a better chance if they disengage and not fight the point 5v6. Even though they did have positional superiority, they didn't have that Mei at all, and those walls, as we've seen before, are just straight up killer.
And that's literally her entire purpose in that composition. Like she's not there for damage. That's everyone else's job.
She is there to wall people off and to make someone else rant and basically get destroyed mentally.
Pretty much. And then you have Double Cap seems to really like these dive compositions whenever possible, although this is where they got the most punished. Not necessarily on this round, I forget if they got punished here, but like in previous maps that they had lost, they were trying to run the dive, and it was basically just Pongo one-man diving because the rest of his team was not ready for it. So
I am curious about the May pick here. I'm not sure that this is...
I think they were expecting Brawl.
Yeah, because this is not really the best May map because it's way, way too open. There's not really... Yes, you have those entrances, but most people will go, like, if they just see them... Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, they just ran them down.
Yeah, because right now, the May pick really isn't doing much, but the rest of the team is picking up the slack, and that's 100% A-okay.
Yeah,
sometimes...
Well, actually, now they're swapping, but yeah.
So they're going Brawl v Brawl.
Yeah, well, they kind of got forced on
in.
it. Like, if you saw Double Cap just got split, their backline got ran over, and they couldn't really do anything about it. Like,
and that's the kind of the weakness with dive is, especially if you don't have the greatest coordination in the world, having that split up and basically having your backline basically just be fodder is the worst thing in the world. Great wall. Fortunate for Oh No Potato, he tried to escape, but he got caught right there in his neck. And Pongo coming in with like the most yeetest charge ever.
Oh, they're coming back too.
Okay, let's rewind a little bit and slow it down. I kind of want to see what won that fight there because that was very, very sporadic.
Yeah, so Corey goes. I'm at a 0.25 this even.
Yeah.
Corey goes a little bit too deep, gets punished because the rest of his team was disengaging.
Right now, Kappatilism wants to stick together and they want to pick one target and go after them. And right now, looks like they're trying to go after the May, but because of the fact that they ignored that Ryan right there, he's able to push in. Even though he was half health, that was actually probably the best play he could have done. And with that being said, basically split off. That wall right there sealed the deal. And that shatter was not the best in the world because of the fact that he only got the Diva when he had a Ryan right there who was half health. I think if he would have shattered the Ryan too, or just shattered just the Ryan, I think that would have been probably the better play there.
Honestly, I think the best play probably would have just been to back up a little bit. I think Kappatilism got too caught up in the moment and didn't it's like soft disengage.
Oh no!
You're down like 3 people.
And not only that, you have a Diva in front of your face. That is no, yeah, no. At that point, especially if you're playing with a Diva in a brawl comp against a Diva in a brawl comp, you do not use high noon to get many kills. Most of the time, you use it for either zoning or to bait out the Diva, or even as a reload. Because again, you ain't gonna do much, especially if you're against a good Diva player.
Meching first.
Exactly. If you're going against a good Diva, they know exactly what you want when you want a high noon. They could do the timing. But also, only high noon whenever you actually have people to distract from you because it's the worst ultimate in the game. It's the worst solo ultimate in the game, rather.
I think Barrage is up there too. But
no, Barrage gets a 7k every single time. Oh, that
wait,
was... Oh, whoa. Yeah.
Where was Tannic?
Where was Tannic? Tannic? No, Tannic's to the right. He's right there by himself.
Does he just
what did he do
behind them? Wait, he just waltzes up to them.
Oh, that's actually that's brilliant right there. Okay, he knew that the freaking Diva was throwing the bomb in. That was perfectly played.
Oh, battle with the mace here in the little crevasse. Who wins? Tannic.
That's awesome. Wait, go back a little bit. Did Ender get a headshot on him? F2. Because right there.
He was. No, he's just trying to freeze him. Oh.
Oh! If that was a headshot, that would have been dead.
That actually probably should have been a headshot, in all honesty.
That should have been a headshot, but he hit the shoulder first. Player models are weird, especially if they're on the slight higher ground.
That's tragic. Although, like, looking at this fight, as long as they can get the Diva out of mech or force her
They need
away,
a scout. They need to scout the Diva. Oh, no, never mind.
As long as Ender can get a decent Blizzard off, they should be able to just win this fight, because Double Cap don't really have anything to deal with it.
Good coordination, except why did Nova go by himself to the right side? Looks like Nova's a little lost of what to do.
I think by this point they started to feel the
Panic a little
pressure.
bit. You can definitely tell. Like it's not at like you can see this at the beginning of the fight they're basically doing everything they can, moving together as one unit. You can tell that they practice that. But then as soon as the fight breaks out, it feels that everyone kind of does their own thing. Meanwhile, Double Cap, while they don't have a good opening to the fight, they know how to be scrappy in the middle. And poor Hamster. You will never be missed.
And that's pretty much the series. You know, that of course now Team 2 is Double Cap. They win 3-2. Um, if you're watching this and that's the only map you've seen of this series, I would highly recommend checking out the entire series because Capitalism definitely looked better on other maps. Like we just said, I think that was more of like the nerves getting to them. They are a brand new team as opposed to Double Cap being a lot of veterans, many of which who've played together before. I mean, hell, I'm pretty sure. Let's just look at Double Cap. So I think Frozen was on Plat Chat a little bit last season. I forget exact, or was he only on Epizooxis and over? No, I think Central was on Plat Chat. Yeah, that's what it is. I always get those two mixed up. Let's see. I don't know if Corey and Tianic have played together, Corey and Pongo, but I know Pongo and Tianic played briefly on Plat Chat season 1 before Pongo went AFK and left, and then Jeff filled that that position and ended up winning the championship. Silver, I have no idea how he slots into this other than just being mechanically good, and they wanted to pick him up in the draft. I don't think they knew him prior.
And like I'm always excited whenever I see people get picked up that are unknowns because that's the entire point of the draft league. You pick up the hidden gems. I mean, heck, we've seen some people go from complete unknowns to becoming basically MVP candidates by the end of the season, all because of their skill alone. Like just straight up, people said, "Okay, we had to vote for him." And so overall, this looks very interesting. And just as mentioned before, what we'll have the link to the full match in the description down below. And not only that, but maybe next week we might do a highlight of this. Depends on if I'm feeling
If it fits into the schedule.
pretty much, dude. I don't even know the only ones I know that I'm editing right now are novice and advanced because there's only 4 teams each. I don't know what to do for intermediate.
But yeah,
So with that being said, this has been really insightful. Stop feeding both teams because both of you guys fed sometimes. But yeah,
yeah. Well, I tried to be nice and not point it out. I'm also trying not to get into the coach mode because I was in coaching mode for like 6 months in the off season. So I try not to give these teams free coaching because then I have to give it to
meanwhile,
everyone to be fair.
I just roast you. I don't care.
But yeah, honestly, I think Double Cap's going to be interesting to look at for the rest of the season if they can. I think I even said this in my power rankings or whatever in my tier list sheet somewhere. You could probably look it up. I'm pretty sure I have Double Cap as number 2 and Cap as number 3, and I think they are that close. Like as long as Capitalism can kind of get more used to each other, I think they'll be really good. And as long as Double Cap is willing to play at Pongo's pace, just like turn brain off, follow Pongo, they could probably win everything.
So far as right now, I want to say is Capitalism. You guys need to be put be put in more uncomfortable situations, especially in scrim. That way, you guys know what it's like to fight with your back against the walls. Because sometimes it felt like during the middle of the fight, when things got a little crazy, you guys kind of lost focus on what to do. Although your beginning of the fight was amazing, like your opening moves were really damn good. Double Cap, you guys need to focus on doing a plan and sticking to that plan. Too many times it feels like some people basically just kind of did their own thing. But as what Acri said, as soon as you guys did what Pongo did and basically just didn't think anymore, you guys did pretty damn good.
Yeah, pretty much. I think both of these teams are definitely top half of the standings. Um,
Easily.
I'm gonna be very curious to see. I forget the schedule. I forget who's playing Tenacity because I have them as number 1 right now. Granted, that's because
I can
they.
tell you. I
I
can
have it somewhere, but
scroll.
I'm not looking it up.
Oh.
Tenacity.
Capitalism plays Tenacity
Okay,
next week.
that's gonna be I think a really tough match because I think Tenacity's by far the best in intermediate. Just looking at week 1, so that's gonna be a real test of like how well they can perform. Who's Double Cap facing?
Mortal Wombats.
Okay, that's
Mortal
gonna
Wombats had a very tough first week. Again, they're
against
playing
tenacity.
against, yeah, against Tenacity. But at the same time, very, very curious about Mortal Wombats in the long term. If DC's played like they did today, if Mortal Wombats, because of the organization that they are part of, I think Mortal Wombat might have that handily if DC didn't improve at all. But hearing that Ranter is back and he's going to be there fully and he's going to yell at them, I have a feeling that we might see some interesting stuff.
Just get them to do exercises, have Pongo run around the map on Wrecking Ball, and they have to follow him. It's like a giant Congo line.
The Bronze Congo line.
Yeah, pretty
Ugh.
much. Either way, I hope you all enjoyed this mildly in-depth analysis. Hopefully we can do more stuff like this. I'd like to do something like this occasionally with like on the actual Twitch channel with divisional analysts like live, and get a few people talking about a few different games, so it'd be a couple hours long or whatnot. But let me know in the comments, or just like DM me in Discord if that sounds interesting as well, because that would make it a little bit easier for us to uh, get affiliate with the Twitch channel, because right now there's
Yeah.
some weird logistics with that. But if we do something outside of just official matches, we might actually be able to do that. Uh, so yeah,
Legally.
legally.
And
Well, technically, we
legally,
probably could now.
probably. And also, not only that, but make sure you guys like and subscribe. I am the YouTube manager, and I really do want to see if we can get 1,000 freaking subs so we can monetize it, so I can finally get pennies that I deserve for my hours and hours of work on this damn channel.
YouTube doesn't pay out until you get $100, but that's neither
Don't
here nor there.
at this rate, we might get there in 3 years. But in reality, please do also join if you stumbled across this video and you haven't joined our Discord server. Come on, join. It's fun. We promise we're not that toxic.
Anymore. We're trying, okay? Anyways,
Allegedly.
in order to prevent any more rambling, do all the stuff we said. Thanks for watching. See you eventually.